We are all warriors in this life, whether we choose to acknowledge it or not. Every day, we battle external forces, circumstances, adversity, the unpredictability of the world. But these battles, no matter how pressing they may seem, are mere illusions of the true war being fought. The real battleground lies within. It is here, in the depths of our minds, that the Stoic warrior fights, unseen, uncelebrated, and often alone. The Stoic path, as the great philosopher Epictetus once said, is not for the faint-hearted. No man is free who is not master of himself, he proclaimed. And herein lies the essence of Stoicism, the pursuit of inner mastery, the cultivation of a mind so fortified, so impenetrable, that no external storm can shake it. This is the Stoic warrior's path. A journey that transforms not only how we see the world but more importantly, how we see ourselves within it. The true enemy lies within. The first lesson every Stoic warrior must learn is this: the enemy is not out there. It is not the circumstances we face, nor the people we encounter. The true enemy, the one who can either enslave us or liberate us, is ourselves. Our thoughts, our emotions, our impulses, these are the forces that seek to shackle us. Marcus Aurelius, the revered Roman emperor and philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is where the Stoic journey begins. We must come to the stark realization that everything external is beyond our control. What others think of us, the events that unfold, the triumphs, the tragedies, none of these are within our grasp. And if we allow them to dictate our happiness, our peace of mind, then we have already lost. But if we turn inward, if we focus on mastering the one thing we can control, our own mind, then we become invincible. The Stoic warrior does not waste energy railing against the world. Instead, he trains himself to conquer his own passions, to rule over his desires, and to control his reactions. He seeks to overcome not the world but himself. The path of self-control. The path of self-mastery is arduous. We will be tempted, time and again, to give in to our baser instincts, anger, envy, fear. These are the emotions that weaken us, that turn us away from the path of the Stoic warrior. And yet, it is precisely these emotions that present us with the opportunity for growth. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, wisely observed, "A man's worth is no greater than his ambitions." And what higher ambition is there than to cultivate a soul that remains unperturbed by the whims of fate? When anger threatens to consume us, we must pause and reflect. Is this emotion serving us, or is it weakening us? When fear grips us, we must ask, does this fear arise from something within my control or beyond it? By constantly questioning our emotions, by training ourselves to respond with reason rather than impulse, we strengthen the walls of our inner fortress. It is a lifelong battle, to be sure. But with every victory, every moment in which we choose self-control over indulgence, fortitude over weakness, we grow stronger. We begin to see that true power does not come from dominance over others, but from mastery of ourselves. We become less reactive, more centered. We begin to embody the calm, unwavering presence that defines the Stoic warrior. Overcoming destructive emotions. Of all the enemies we face on this path, perhaps none is more destructive than our own emotions. Anger, resentment, jealousy, these are the forces that, if left unchecked, can consume us from within. They distort our perception, cloud our judgment, and lead us down a path of self-destruction. But the Stoic warrior does not allow himself to be ruled by such emotions. He understands that while emotions are natural, they do not have to control him. As Epictetus famously taught, it is not things that upset us, but our judgments about things. What we perceive as an insult, a slight, or a failure is often just a reflection of our own internal state. We allow ourselves to become angry because we have not yet learned to detach our sense of worth from the opinions of others. We feel envy because we have not yet come to terms with our own desires. The key, as the Stoics remind us, is to change our perspective. When faced with destructive emotions, the Stoic warrior takes a step back. He examines the situation from a higher vantage point, asking himself, is this truly within my control? Is this emotion serving me, or is it enslaving me? Through this process of reflection and self-inquiry, he begins to strip away the layers of emotional attachment that keep him bound. And with time, the warrior learns that the greatest freedom comes not from the absence of emotion, but from the ability to rise above it. He does not deny his feelings, but he does not allow them to rule his actions. He becomes the master of his emotional landscape, capable of navigating even the most turbulent waters with grace and composure. Fortitude in the face of adversity. Life is full of trials. We will all face moments of great hardship, moments that test the very core of our being. It is in these moments that the true strength of the Stoic warrior is revealed. For it is easy to remain calm and composed when life is going well. But the true test of character comes when we are faced with adversity. In the face of suffering, many are quick to crumble, to despair. But the Stoic warrior knows that every trial is an opportunity to grow stronger. The obstacle is the way, as Marcus Aurelius reminds us. What stands in the way becomes the way. Every challenge we face is a chance to practice the virtues of patience, resilience, and fortitude. Every setback is an opportunity to prove to ourselves that we are not defined by our circumstances, but by how we respond to them. The Stoic warrior welcomes adversity not because he enjoys suffering, but because he understands that it is through adversity that he becomes stronger. He does not seek to avoid hardship, but to endure it with grace. He knows that it is in the crucible of suffering that true strength is forged. The power of virtue. At the heart of the Stoic warrior's path is the pursuit of virtue. For the Stoics, virtue is not just a set of moral principles, it is the very foundation of a life well lived. Courage, wisdom, justice, and temperance, these are the virtues that guide the Stoic warrior on his journey. They are the principles by which he measures his success, not by the external achievements he may or may not attain. As Seneca wisely noted, virtue is nothing else than right reason. To live virtuously is to live in accordance with reason, to align our actions with our higher nature. It is to act not out of impulse or desire, but out of a deep understanding of what is right. The Stoic warrior does not seek fame, wealth, or power. These are fleeting, impermanent things. He seeks instead to cultivate a virtuous soul, one that remains steadfast and true in the face of all that life may throw at him. It is this commitment to virtue that gives the Stoic warrior his unshakable inner strength. For while external circumstances may change, virtue remains constant. It is the rock upon which the Stoic builds his life, the anchor that keeps him grounded even in the stormiest of seas. The way of acceptance. Perhaps the most difficult lesson for any Stoic warrior to learn is the art of acceptance. We live in a world that is constantly changing, a world full of uncertainty and unpredictability. And yet, we often cling to the illusion that we can control the outcome of our lives. We struggle against fate, resisting the inevitable with all our might. But the Stoic warrior knows that true strength lies not in resisting the flow of life, but in accepting it. He understands that there are many things in life that are beyond his control, other people's actions, the course of events, even his own mortality. And rather than fight against these things, he chooses to embrace them. As Epictetus so eloquently put it, don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, and you will go on well. This is the essence of Stoic acceptance. It is not about passivity or resignation, but about aligning ourselves with the natural order of the universe. It is about finding peace in the knowledge that while we may not control the external world, we always have control over how we respond to it. In this way, the Stoic warrior frees himself from the chains of attachment. He no longer depends on external circumstances for his happiness or peace of mind. He becomes, in a sense, untouchable, impervious to the ups and downs of life, because he has learned to accept whatever comes his way with grace and equanimity. The legacy of the Stoic warrior. As we walk the path of the Stoic warrior, we come to realize that this journey is not just about ourselves. It is about something much larger, something timeless. The Stoics believe that we are all part of a greater whole, that our actions ripple out into the world, affecting those around us and shaping the course of history. We do not walk this path alone. The Stoic warrior is part of a long lineage, stretching back through the ages to the great philosophers who first illuminated this way of life. From Zeno of Citium, who founded the Stoic school, to Marcus Aurelius, who embodied its principles in his rule, we are connected to these ancient sages by a shared commitment to the pursuit of wisdom and virtue. And just as they left their mark on the world, so too do we. Every choice we make, every battle we fight within ourselves, contributes to the legacy of the Stoic warrior. We become living examples of what it means to live with courage, fortitude, and self-mastery. We inspire those around us, not through grand speeches or displays of power, but through our quiet, steadfast presence. Conclusion: the unshakable inner strength. The path of the Stoic warrior is not an easy one. It requires discipline, self-reflection, and an unwavering commitment to the pursuit of inner mastery. But for those who choose to walk this path, the rewards are immense. We become stronger, not just in body, but in mind and spirit. We become less affected by the chaos of the world around us, more centered in our own sense of purpose and virtue. And in the end, we come to realize that the true battle was never against the external world. It was always within.